This podcast is brought to you by the Alien Soda Company, your connection to pop culture and paranormal-themed merch. AlienSodaCompany.shop for all things out of this world.
All right, on this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast, we are going to be talking about the Dogboy of Quitman. Let's check it out.
Dogboy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast.
What's up, everybody?
I
got you.
You got me this time. That's different. You're so stupid. But what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for checking out the Paranormal Mind podcast. We appreciate y'all very much and all that you do. Glad that you're hanging out with us today.
We also apologize in advance for how dumb we are.
Well, Josh does. I'm good.
When I'm having fun, my stupidity. Dang it, man. I'll do it to myself.
Yeah, you do, man. Well,
my stupidity knows no bounds.
Oh, I know that. And Mandy says that all the time, your wife.
Yeah. I wake up in the morning. That's the thing. She's like, good morning, honey. Your stupidity knows no bounds. I'm like, oh, thanks. Off to work I go.
She gives you a little pep talk, a little pep talk of the day, huh? That's why you always look so chipper and happy.
Yeah, I'm like,
Anyway, enough of this. Good Lord. Real quick, before we get started, check out our sponsors, AlienSodaCompany.shop. You heard that in the intro already. But go ahead and check them out. They have a really cool selection of stuff that I think you guys would love. Paranormal related, alien related.
You name it, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of really cool things.
I think they did like I know they've done Sasquatch stuff. They did a Chupacabra thing recently too, which is kind of cool. You know, to that point about sponsorships, something that I've never brought up, but if you are interested and would like to do some sort of sponsorship with us, just go check out our website. We have a sponsorship form you can fill out. You know, we try to cater our sponsorships to whoever's wanting to sponsor us. So we do a lot of different content on all social media platforms. So we really, filming and audio. If you guys are interested, hit us up.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out. Also, another thing we can throw in there real quick is if you're not a Patreon member,
you are missing out.
You are missing out. So if you're not a Patreon member, you're only listening to the audio version, but there is a video version where you can watch us be stupid.
So if you're like, man, I really want something that's going to numb my brain, join Patreon.
That's right. That's right. But on top of that, we do give away a lot of really cool things.
Oh, yeah. So one of our sponsors right now is Horn Paranormal. They're our sponsor specifically to donate paranormal built equipment for our Patreon.
Yeah, so like if you're into ghost hunting and all of that stuff, there's some really cool gear that's going to be given away pretty soon.
And it's incredible. So they have some Searchers exclusive builds you can only get through our website, and you can only get giveaways on our Patreon.
Right. To that point, for the Patreon members, you have to be a $25 a month tier member to qualify for the giveaways. But that does not mean that we're not going to be coming up with some other things in the future.
Absolutely.
For everybody. We're going to do some restructuring in the future in regards to our Patreon to make sure that we are giving everybody a lot of value and making sure that everything's
trying to give the most
away
to everybody, but also, paying attention to the tier levels as well. So
Yep, absolutely. So what do we have coming up? I know next week we're going to be going to Oregon.
Yep. We leave soon for that.
And I know how this episode schedule is. We probably already went to Oregon.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But it's all good. And then the following week, I'll be at Michigan Paracon, which is the biggest paranormal convention of the entire year. It's massive.
I know. We've been scrounging, trying to get merchandise done. I want to thank Rob from Get Haunted for helping us out with that.
Yeah. So he's going to have 75 shirts ready for us, which is great because we're going to need them.
Yep.
And we ordered some really cool tote bags that we should have ready in time, I hope. And we'll have a lot of stuff there. I don't know if they'll be listening to this at that time or not.
I don't know, but if you are,
check it out.
Check it out.
Also go to searchersbelieve.com/shop and you can go sign up for the investigation that we're doing in DeRidder, Louisiana at the Gothic jail.
You know, it's a game changer too.
September 1st and 2nd.
Segueing back to the Patreon is you get a discount code to our shop that you can use whenever, however, and that includes any events that we host ourselves.
Yeah. So take advantage of that. And if you want to investigate with us and have a good time, we're going to be at DeRidder, Louisiana at the Gothic jail. Our good buddy Vince Killian, is that his name?
Yep.
He's going to be with us. He's the urban investigator. We invited him to talk about some urban exploring, and if you're into that, how you can go about doing that, making it a hobby as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a good time. We always have a good time when we go there.
Yeah, it's a great place.
All right, y'all. So let's get into this episode.
Let's do it.
Let's get into this episode. Have you heard of the Dogboy legend in Quitman? Have you ever heard of this?
Quitman, where's that at?
I have no idea.
Oh, I don't know then. Dogboy.
It's Arkansas. Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas.
Arkansas no, it's Arkansas.
I'm like sitting here, put a 1 in the comment if you think it's
So this story is absolutely wild, okay? So there's this old Victorian era house in downtown Quitman, Arkansas, right?
Okay.
Locals say it's haunted as hell.
Why haven't we not investigated that?
I know, but why Quitman though?
I don't know.
All right. Dr. Mike Barnett, this retired doc and history buff, says Quitman's like ancient by North Central Arkansas standards. During the Civil War, it was the spot for dudes to join the army.
Oh, okay.
And it was a major crossroads up until 1870. Fancy homes, big buildings, the works.
Gotcha.
All right. Nelda Kennedy, someone who's been around for a while, said the Garrett family built a really nice house there in the 1890s. Another resident, Mary Nell Holabird,
Here we go.
talked about the Jacksons who used to live there. There was this dude, Benjamin Jackson. His wife dies young, and their son, Joseph, fights in World War II, but also dies young. Holabird thinks Jackson's ghost is one of those still lingering around.
I gotcha.
All right. But here's where it gets crazier. More recently, that house got famous because of the Bettis family. Floyd and Aline Bettis move in during the 1950s and have this kid, Gerald, in 1954. By all accounts, Gerald was, let's just say, a handful.
Feral.
Holabird straight up calls him a brat, vicious and cruel. So the dude got the nickname Dog Boy because he collected strays, and apparently, well, it wasn't good what he did to them.
I was about to say, dang, if that's the requirement, then I'm a dog boy. But
oh Lord,
apparently
he's more of a
dog boy of the violent type.
Right. So Kennedy even said Gerald added to the house to keep more animals. And he was this weird attention seeker. She talked about a time he took a Chase lounge to a family reunion, laid on it, and ate grapes like he's some Roman emperor. He sounds like a brat.
My kind of guy.
Yeah. And as he grew up, man, he turned dark. Holabird says he kept his parents locked upstairs.
What?
Dictated when they ate and was physically abusive. Rumor has it he once threw his dad out an upstairs window.
Oh my God.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm done with you. Get out. Get. I said get now.
Is that how they talk in Arkansas?
Get out of here.
My God.
Scram.
Is that
you can't do it?
Is that
Come on now, get.
Is that the 50s lingo? Scram.
Scram, get.
All right. Anyway, good Lord, we're stupid. All right. So he threw him out of an upstairs window. When his dad,
you can't do it now.
I can't. When his dad died in 81, some folks think Gerald pushed him down the stairs,
dang,
snapping his neck.
Jeez, I mean,
get the hell down there, crunch!
Get down them stairs.
Okay, we should not be laughing at this guy's demise. This is horrible. But anyway, they thought that Gerald pushed him down the stairs, and snapped his neck. It's crazy.
That's crazy. So this dude was wild.
Yeah, he was wild. So Kennedy was legit scared of Gerald. She said his eyes seemed to glow. And his uncle, why are you giggling? What? You're still giggling over the
This sounds like a story out of like Goosebumps or something.
Yeah, it's weird. All right. So Kennedy, like I said, was scared of Gerald. She said his eyes seemed to glow, and his uncle even borrowed a gun from her because he thought Gerald might get violent.
God dang.
Yeah. So later on, Gerald gets into growing and selling weed. Yeah. What a heathen.
If he wasn't on a dark path before, now what are we going to do with him now?
He's using that there gateway drug. All right. So the law gets him on that and his mom's abuse testimony. He ends up overdosing in prison. Okay.
Okay.
Probably not of weed.
No, pretty certain that's not how that will work.
After Gerald's mom passed away, the house got sold a few times. The new owners, they reported some serious ghostly activities.
EVPs of get
the hell out of here.
What was that?
Oh my God. You hear that? Play it back. Play it back.
That's a Class A EVP right there.
Son of a bitch, my neck.
My neck's hurting now.
My neck just snapped. Oh my God, that EVP. We're horrible. We're going to hell.
EVP said, get down them stairs.
We're going to hell. We're definitely going to hell. Oh my God.
This is spun out of control now.
Yeah. So the new owners, they reported some ghostly activity, right? We're talking about lights turning on by themselves, pennies floating downstairs.
Why with the pennies, man? Why with the pennies?
Not panties.
Pennies. I said pennies.
Okay. Your southern drawl.
You said it, not me.
It's not Victoria's Secret's just going down the stairs. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, where was I at? Pennies, with Abraham Lincoln on them.
It sounds like you're saying it.
I'm Southern, dude. Pennies.
Oh my God.
Pennies with Abraham Lincoln on it, right? Is that right?
Am I right? Okay. You're right. You're right.
Pennies.
Yeah, Abraham.
Pennies,
okay.
Pennies floating down the stairs, visions of World War I soldiers, and even furniture moving on its own.
Okay.
And then there's this guy, Ed Munnerlin. I guess that's his name, who worked on remodeling the house. He's a skeptic and says the place gives him the creeps. Claims he's seen spirits, including the ghost of Gerald Bettis, looking like some massive, creepy cat-like creature. But the guy he's called the Dogboy. What are you talking about?
Get that mess out of here. It's Dogboy.
I mean, can you imagine some figure like that?
Yeah.
Get the hell. Scram.
Imagine you going up the stairs. Get down them stairs now. Get.
Okay. Good Lord.
All right. Hey, I'm going to segue real quick. When I say that, I'm reminded of Will Ferrell from in an episode of The Office, if anybody watches that. Like one of his pep talks is about adopting a dog, right? So to pep himself up, he's he has a guy imitate him, giving him a dog, and he's like, give me that dog. That's my dog. Give him.
How did you think of that?
Because it's in my brain, man. It's just in my brain.
Your brain.
Give me that dog.
Your brain is a dangerous place, man.
Yeah. Well, correct.
So in 2005, the Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research checks out the house. Their lead researcher, Karen Schillings, said they felt cold spots and tracked an entity.
God, the scent of a dog there. It was weird.
Yeah. She said they saw a face looking down at them from an upstairs window when no one was up there.
Get out that window.
I was wondering if that figure was floating out the window. That would be kind of funny. Is the dad's face in slow motion?
It's not the dog boy at all. It's all of his victims.
Oh, that's horrible. So they even got in touch with what they thought was the spirit of Gerald Bettis, and it told them to get lost. Scram.
They heard this one.
Get the hell out of here.
Tell them to get lost. Get.
Can you imagine getting an EVP of that?
Did you guys hear that?
Oh my God. So they filmed their investigations, but here's the twist. The craziest tape went missing, of course.
Oh, of course.
Just vanished.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah, that's how it happens. So the more you dig into this, the wilder it gets. That house is still on the market.
Dang.
Any takers? Anybody would like to purchase this house?
I'll go investigate it for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll bring some kibble for the dog boy. Yeah, boy.
God. That's not why he was called the dog boy.
Oh, sorry.
Good Lord. Anyway, so here's a little history on the house, all right? In the town of Quitman, a Victorian-era home became the center of the dog boy legend, like we talked about. Over the years, though, different families have lived in this home, but it's most infamously linked to the Bettis family. Gerald Floyd Bettis was born to Floyd and Aline Bettis in 1954. Gerald Bettis is a notorious dog boy, like we talked about. They claimed he was a troubled child, and we talked about that too. I'm just talking about the history a little bit of them and living in the house. He was known to capture and torture animals, particularly cats and dogs, which is how he earned his disturbing nickname. That's why they called him the dog boy. Why would you call him a dog boy if he mistreated the animals? That doesn't make any sense. It's weird, unless that was like his favorite animal to torture.
Maybe.
Which is messed up. And again, like I said, as he grew older, Gerald's action became more sinister, and he imprisoned his elderly parents in the home. He controlled everything about them, what they ate, what they could wear, when they could leave.
Get back here by 10 now.
He didn't let them out, so that wasn't
son.
Conversation. There were even allegations that he threw the father out of the upstairs window. I'm just recounting everything. Yeah. So in the 80s, after the incident involving his injured mother, Aline, Gerald started growing marijuana in the sunroom he added in the back of the house. So he added a room to grow his pot.
So this dude was just doing all the construction on this house and everything.
He was a heathen, dude. He was a heathen.
It's like my house.
After his mother's testimony about her abuse and his illicit activity, that's when he was apprehended and arrested. And it was 1988 whenever he overdosed in prison.
Gotcha.
The Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research, and guess what that stands for? Casper.
Oh, man, that's clever. Yeah.
They investigated and thought that they reached out to him, but then again, it could be folklore. There's a lot of these. Yeah. There's a lot of these stories where we go into it, and people love to drum up the story, and
for sure,
they love to get scared over past stories that have some relevance and some truth to it. But a lot of times, there's no haunting. It's just the story, the folklore that people love to drum up. So this legend has become an integral part of Quitman's local folklore, and stories about the Dog Boy house continue to both intrigue and terrify those who hear them. The house and its storied past have become a significant point of interest for both paranormal enthusiasts and local historians. So I'm wondering, so that's the Dog Boy story, by the way.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I'm wondering if it's available to check out. I think it would be cool to.
I would love it.
So how would you go about investigating something like that? Let's kind of do a deep dive into that. We talked about the story.
Right.
So would you walk into this location automatically assuming that it was haunted, or because of people's testimonies, or how would you go about, what would your approach be into checking out if Gerald Bettis was still there?
In this, it's all in what you want to get out of it, I suppose. But, we talk about intent a lot. But for me, if somebody was like, yeah, this is where the dog boy lives, then I think I'd just be trying to get in contact with Gerald.
But what if you're spinning your wheels and he's not even there?
He could absolutely be true, but that would be the whole, if you find something else, or even if you don't, to me, it's like, if you're going to investigate that place, that's what the place is notoriously known for. That is something factual in history that did happen there. See if he's around. Sounds pretty interesting of a spirit or person.
Yeah. So you're a dog person.
Yeah, for sure.
You love animals and stuff. So So we do talk about mental illness and things of that nature all the time. People like Gerald Bettis that was known to torture animals. Do you draw the line at mental illness, or do you think that there's other things that play?
You have to wonder though, is it an illness if they want to do this? We can't write everything off as being it's not them, it's just a health crisis. What if, maybe there's just people out there that just want to do bad things
that are inherently evil.
Yeah.
But is there something driving that?
Maybe.
Is it because I think for the most part, and I've met a lot of people, I think for the most part, people are inherently good.
I would agree with that.
They're good-natured. Most people do not want to hurt others. Most people care about other human beings. I would say for the most part that people are inherently good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if there's an opposite end of the spectrum like Gerald,
you would have to assume that there are people that are inherently evil too, though.
Right. And where does that stem from? Like, because there's some people that were raised in a religious background. They weren't necessarily abused or anything like that. It could have been a strict upbringing, but nothing that would warrant that sort of evil or that sort of behavior, right? So
I think that determination's left up to the person receiving those experiences, though, right? So what I might brush off might not be the same thing as what you brush off, right? There could be something that would make you upset that would not really make me upset.
But would it warrant torturing of animals? And what I'm getting at
to
here
the wrong person, I guess.
Do you think that there's spiritual forces at play?
I mean,
that could be driving people to act inherently bad or inherently good. I mean, do you think that there's things beyond what we can see and understand that could be driving some of these people to do what they do?
So I think this is a good opportunity for me to kind of put my opinion of like demonic forces and stuff. I think, no, we don't specifically go and say everything is demonic, and I don't think we ever would. At the same time, I don't think either of us leave the term off the table. We just know that it is not as frequent or as popular as what people would make it, right?
So do you believe in demons?
I think you have to.
And why do you say that? Because this is really interesting coming from you, because I've known you for a lot of years, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of know your stance to a degree with religion in a sense.
Right.
It's surprising in a sense to hear you say that, but why do you say you'd have to believe that there are demonic forces out there? Why would you say that?
And it's because it goes back to like, it doesn't matter what my upbringing is or what I choose to believe and not believe. It matters the fact that other people believe that demonic forces exist. There's religions that suggest that demonic forces exist. So therefore they exist. Does that make sense?
So are you talking almost like Tulpa type stuff?
Yeah.
So
it's all intent,
forms?
right?
Yeah.
So like when there's a mass amount of people that all believe in that stuff, then who am I to say that it's not real?
Yeah, but some people can say that's mass hysteria.
They can.
Right?
And to them, it could be mass hysteria, but there's plenty of evidence out there of weird things going on as far as like demonic possession and stuff like that. I believe that if you are a Christian that heavily believes in demonic forces and you find yourself in a situation where something has made you feel like maybe you are being haunted by a demonic presence, that in itself puts you on the track to the different stages of being possessed, because that is the path in your mind that you're going to start following. And I think it has.
So do you believe demons are like these physical, spiritual beings that people see that they say that they've seen certain figures and they're demonic looking figures? Do you believe that they're able to manifest that way? Or do you think it's just what people believe they manifest and it's like
I think they could manifest it and it is thought form. I don't think that's directly tied to like what they actually are, like an actual identity to them. In my head, it's like, I don't know. I tend to think demonic presence stem from like evil acts, if you will.
So do they have an origin? Is the origin people believing that they exist? Because remember, that origin had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
like it had to start the whole story of demons and angels and all that. It had to start somewhere.
I believe back then too, it was probably way more prevalent, right? I mean,
but where do you think they come from? Where do you think, if you do believe in demons, do you believe like in God? Do you believe in like the angel type?
Yeah. So, for me, it's, I do believe that there's going to be some type of higher power. I just don't believe that it is what we all like go to church and get taught every day, right? It can't be.
Why do you say that?
Because there's too many. So everything that we get taught in churches right now is based off of a book that's been rewritten how many times now? Nobody's using the source material, and leave it to humankind as usual to take things out of literature or add things to literature to fit a narrative, right? And we know that this happened.
Yeah.
And it has indeed. I mean, because if it didn't, then we would just be word for word rewriting exactly what comes out of the original text, right? Just translating it over to different languages, and that'd be that. But we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I even know the Catholic Church,
right?
They had a hand in changing what they wanted in there, what they wanted removed,
right?
Well.
And when you make that kind of decision, to me, it's like, all right, so now you've already like you've started making your own narrative. Because if it were me, I'd just be like, it's not up to what I want in there. I don't get to determine if it is indeed the Bible and the Word of God. Who am I to determine what he wants you to hear and what he doesn't want you to hear? That's crazy. Only humans do that.
So do you think that, and I know this episode's taken a weird turn, but do you think that, so is there any choice or decision to make regarding there being a creator, there's demonic forces, all of this stuff, or do you think that we're just left to our own devices and it kind of is what it is and we
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I tend
because there's a lot of people, you need to get saved or you need to be on the path to righteousness instead of the evil, the stuff with the dog boy, you don't want to be on that path of being influenced by evil.
I don't think any of that. I think you become influenced if you want to be influenced. That's plain and simple. It's no different than you having a drink.
And why do people get influenced? That's another question that I really have. Like, why do people get overcome with evil? Stress?
Yeah.
You think that's a big factor?
I think it's a huge factor because there are, like, you having a drink may not be an issue for you, but if somebody bends their world to look like it's the worst of the worst, then that drink becomes the only outlet for them. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's a matter of perspective on, like, some of these people that end up possessed are probably driving themselves to the possession, if that makes sense, because of their whole like outlook on life and what they are able to handle versus what they can't. I mean, we're not all treated the same in that aspect, I think.
So what do you think the goal is of these evil forces? Why would they overtake somebody?
Just
no
like
rhyme or reason to it?
No, I think because even in, humanity and our day-to-day decisions, not everything we do makes sense. Or has to even make sense. You know what I mean? It's
true.
Sometimes you just make a choice.
It's interesting, man. This dog boy stuff, it makes you wonder, like, this is one isolated case.
Yeah.
But there's even in modern day, and this was drug induced, they said.
Right.
But you think about it. Remember whenever people were abusing the bath salts and stuff?
Oh, yeah, man.
And were like eating.
I mean, that's a prime example, right? I mean,
that's not normal.
No, it isn't. And we look at it and we're like, who would even make that decision knowing that information? But people do, right? I mean,
yeah.
So
it's the craziest thing to me. Like even in modern day times, right? Like I said, the bath salt thing. Like you would say, oh yeah, well they're being influenced by drugs because their mind's being altered. But who in their right mind would go and attack somebody and tear their face apart?
If I gave you something and I was like, all right, before you take this, because then at that point it's public knowledge, right? Before you take this, you may end up ripping somebody's face off. Would you do it?
No.
Exactly. But there are people that do.
Well,
that is what I'm saying.
Same with meth and stuff. Like
exactly.
There's a lot of people that abuse meth.
So then do you blame it on the drug?
Or the person?
The person making the decision.
Or what's driving them to make the decision.
Right.
Like, is there something behind the person themselves that's influencing them to do what they do?
Maybe. And I think that is where the demonic comes into play, right?
And the word demon is so taboo now. Like everybody's like, oh, everybody is drumming up the demon thing. But then I got to think about this for a minute. And I think we all have to think about this. Why does it bother people so much?
It shouldn't.
Like, that's the thing. Like, even if somebody puts, like, the social media age and how everything is nowadays, if they put demons in their video or the title demon in the video,
it's wildly popular, right?
People lose their shit. But why? Like, why does it bother you to a point to where, because why you think that everybody's hyping up evil? Well, what if evil's a thing that needs to be hyped up? What if it's something that needs to be paid attention to? Like, we don't really know what we're dealing with.
I think the issue is that, like, it creates this rift when other people when every video or every paranormal investigation they go on is a demonic entity, then everybody's just like, okay, you're just doing this for clout now. But at the same time, like which is where I'm at, is like, no matter if there's people out there doing that or not, it still exists to some capacity. So me just denying it is not doing the world anything better either, right?
Well, here's the other issue. People say, well, you're hyping the demon thing on every investigation. But then if you turn around and you take demons out of the equation and you have a video that says, oh, it's
only hyped up because people are,
oh, we caught this spirit. We caught this spirit here, or aren't you hyping up the same? I mean, you're just hyping up a different aspect of something.
Yeah, it's just a term, man. I mean,
but it's just so weird how people get so up in arms about it.
Yeah. I mean, my ultimate belief is that there are probably demons out there that do apply to the rules of religion. And
it just makes you wonder if they do exist, then like you said, there has to be some sort of driving force, either positive and negative, that's at play. It has to be. Because
I think that's what it's the rules of attraction and all of that. There's got to be a balance to everything. Yeah. So if there's a lot of good, there's got to be evil.
So weird.
Good can't exist otherwise.
That's so weird to think about. I guess we're going to scram.
Get now.
But thank y'all so much for listening to this episode of the Paranormal Mind Podcast. And until the next episode, searchers out.
Y'all get.